All right, I call the April 25th, 2024 municipal facilities meeting to order. First agenda item is the approval of the March 28th, 2024 minutes.
So moved. Second.
All right, motion passes. Second is the Marina Steps update.
Great, thank you. So I will pass off some renderings that are hot off the press. And so I'll jump into the memo first. So currently the Marina Steps project, the design team is actively working on the 60% design. We hope to have that potentially in hand by tomorrow or Monday. So they've been working hard on that. And that's going to be quite the package for staff to review, and we'll be providing comments back as soon as possible to keep the schedule on the project moving forward.
When is the tentative date for you guys to get back your comments from on that?
Probably 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, we'll try and speed that up as much as possible. I think that we can accomplish that fairly easily. So the team is also actively pursuing a stormwater grant that could potentially cover some of the expenses related to implementing a bioretention swale. And in the rendering on the first page there, you can kind of see it down below the stairs. So there's a couple bioretention facilities within this area, and so we're looking at a potential grant opportunity for that. So hopefully that would be another $500,000 that we could put towards the project. So at the top of the stairs, there is 2 PSE poles that we are trying to remove and do undergrounding along Cliff Avenue. So we're continuing to coordinate with PSE. This is a very high priority for the city design team because we really do not want that to impact our schedule. And that is a very high priority right now to kind of get to a solution and to an agreement with PSE for that.
Are you talking to Julian Lowe about this one as a priority?
Not at the moment, but I can if we have any issues.
Yeah. So this rendering that I provided, there's 4 sheets that show some of the changes that have been made, probably since you've seen the last rendering at the community meeting. Most of them are small design changes, but what you'll notice, and I'll kind of go through these A, B, C, D, and E. A, we've looked at doing a turnaround. That's basically for a hammerhead for fire department, as well as other vehicles needing to turn around in that area. We've refined the play area, just moved some of the features around a little bit for some setbacks. Let's see, C is the weir wall, and if you turn to the last page in the renderings, you kind of see the weir wall there where we'll daylight some of the stormwater. So incorporating that stormwater design into the Marina Steps project, showing those incorporating the water into the project as a whole.
That's beautiful.
And then, so there's E, there's sort of an access back to some of the stormwater cells that I mentioned earlier. And like I said, I missed D. We've also, based on some of the public feedback, we've revised some of the overlooks, the 3 overlooks near the stairs there, to face more out towards the water and to kind of minimize the size of those a little bit. So just kind of flipping through, that's the first page. The second page of the renderings just shows kind of a night view of a different angle of the steps. The third sheet's looking out towards the water from near the top of the steps. And then the last sheet shows the new weir wall. So most of these design changes were based on some of the feedback that we got at the community meeting. So we're trying to incorporate those as much as possible. So kind of the looking forward on this, there will be a future council item probably a few council motions, looking at some of the, looking at a future task assignment with our design consultant to incorporate such features as the spray park, the play area, and the undergrounding of utilities along the top of the steps there. So stay tuned on that one. That'll be coming to council. I would anticipate within the next month or two. We're trying to kind of consolidate all the motions into only coming to council once for that approval. And then also, as a part of that, we'd also be accepting a grant award for the project. That was from the state commerce grant that we received. And then project schedule. So as I mentioned, we anticipate the 60% design deliverables. I said early May, but that could be as early as tomorrow. And then our target remains to have the complete bid documents and permits secured by the end of this year. And really that's, I would hope to be going out to bid, I would say late this year is our goal. So if you have any questions, let me know.
You know, like I said, I don't have any questions. It's just obviously how important it is for the community to see something happen. Like they don't get it, nobody gets excited until the bulldozers show up. And I know you guys are doing what you can. And I just want to, you know, say that if you're looking for support, I'm sure we can rally it together, cheer you on, do whatever we can. I know you guys are the experts, but yeah, go get it. You're getting it done for us and keep getting it done. That's what all I can ask.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question, Scott, maybe you can answer this better. Where are the fuel tanks? We have three, particularly with regard to the proposed water feature.
Yeah, I'm seeing if there's a picture where I can show you where they're at. You know where the farmer's market sits during the summer?
Right.
Fuel tanks are directly underneath the farmer market in that parking lot. So in this rendering here, council member, here's where the farmer market is in this parking lot. They sit right in here. There's three of them.
And those are with the large.
They're 10,000 gallon tanks, 10,000 gallon round tanks that sit right here. So they're behind the quarter deck and then just north in that parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my only question is has there been any movement with PSE, or we still?
Yes, there has. There's been, we've had some back and forth conversations with PSE, and we're working on what's called a Schedule 74 agreement. And so we've definitely had some conversations, and we're actively trying to engage with them on a daily basis.
With them, it's very challenging.
So getting to the PSE thing, I know I've seen the power poles and stuff and getting them down. I mean, as far as, you're gonna have that open so they would be able to underground those reasonably easy in the scheme of all we're doing?
Yeah, so what we need from them right now is basically their design. And so what we will do as part of the project, we'll open up basically the edge of Cliff Avenue, and we'll do what's called a joint utility trench. So we'll dig the trench and install conduit for all the utilities, and then they typically come back and they run their facilities through our conduit. So that's kind of part of the agreement and cost sharing and all that when it comes to the trench work.
Okay, thank you.
And just so everyone here is aware, so Tommy knows, you know, at the time that he needs to, he can come to me and I'll reach out to Julian. And we have contacts within every utility company. So I think at this point, they're trying to work with the staff at the staff level, and then at the point that there's, you know, they're not getting what they need, then they would know to come to talk to me.
No, that's exactly what I wanna hear. It's just, we wanna back you guys in any way we can is all. And, we've had success with getting movement on stuff if you're, treading water,
Right.
so.
Yep.
It's just that important to the community, I think, and I know you know that.
Yep.
but Anything we can do to help, I think, is what I'm after.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I guess our next item is the Redondo Fishing Pier restroom replacement project update.
Let Kai take that one.
All right, thanks, Tommy. And I have some memo to hand out here. All right. So as you all know, the fishing piers reached the end of its service life, and it was closed in September of 2019. And since then, city staff has been working with a design consultant team from Exotech to develop a design plan as well as trying to obtain all of the required permit for the project. So, you know, with a complete design plan and all of the permit in place, in March of this year, we advertised the project for bid. And earlier, like this month, we had a bid opening for the project, and only received a single bid for the project, and it was from a contractor named Quidpros. And the bid from Quidpro came in at $10,668,000, and it was significantly higher than the engineer estimate, which was around $5,150,000. So after the bid opening, staff worked with Exotech to review the bid proposal, and we identified a few of the factors that kind of impact the price escalation. One of the factor we believe it was due to strict permitting constraints. So the design of the fishing piers adheres to and very strict environmental constraints from the U.S. Army of Corps Engineer, Department of Natural Resources, and Washington State Fish and Wildlife. And as the result of that, some structural element of the fishing pier carries a high construction risk, and the contractor proposed a higher cost on those bid items to compensate for the risk. And for example, we saw that on the bid, the cost for driving those pier pile was almost $2.5 million higher than the engineer estimate. The other factor that we saw was due to high inflation, labor shortage, as well as supply chains issue. Two of the items that highlighted that cost increase was the steel superstructure, which came in at $1.05 million higher than the estimate, and the concrete pier cap was $1.1 million higher than the engineer estimate. Yeah, so with that, as you might all aware, at tonight council meeting, staff has a consent an item for the consent agenda to request council to recommend council to reject the bid from Quidpros. And currently we are actively working with Exotech to evaluate all of the available options so that we can move the project forward. We also reach out to all of the grant partners, and they're all aware of the issue, and they are all provide support for the city. They let us know that all funding for both the fishing pier and the restrooms are secure. We don't have anything to worry about that. Yeah, like I said, we are actively evaluating all available options. So all options are on the table for us to consider. so that we can move the project forward with the current budget that we have. One of the potential approach is to phase the project so that we can bid the restroom facility separately. Yep. So that's all I have left for now.
So so it sounds like you're doing what you can do, or at least looking at what you can do. Would the restrooms, that would include all that infrastructure, like for the parking gates, even though you may not install them yet because you'd have construction, just whatever you can take care of?
Yeah, yep. I believe part of the restroom construction, I think our plan is to put in place a conduit and infrastructure for the parking the facility. So
I think we had lighting too. Would that possibly be part? So maybe something like that can get done, or I don't know. I know lighting wasn't on the bond, but it was on the CIP for a future. I'm just thinking of maybe corners we can cut.
Yeah, I think that, and I'm not 100% sure on this, I think that may be part of a separate CIP.
Yeah, it is.
Project.
It was individually listed. I'm just.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I know you're disappointed too. We are, because we've been waiting so long to get that pier replaced. But I'm just looking at anything we might be able to do.
Yeah, and that's something that we can go back and check with our design consultant and check the plans to make sure that the infrastructure that was being constructed as part of the restroom would facilitate potential future lighting, or wouldn't make that feasible in the future. So we can definitely check on that.
I mean, it's just an idea because they had to come later. Could we save some money?
Mm-hmm.
And show that we're making progress in other areas. Like I said, I don't know if that's the right answer. It'll be nice that you can at least get that restroom out of where it should have never been built. And we won't have to deal with logs at high tide busting the plumbing underneath. So aesthetically, that'll improve things. But yeah, that fishing pier. The other question I have is, I know there'll probably be a presentation tonight on that in your city manager's report?
Yes, yeah, Kai has some slides and essentially we'll be providing some
And
presentation.
is it possible that after this all gets done, maybe some kind of a meeting with the Redondo Community Association to just talk about the project, where we are, some of the challenges, or maybe a couple of the key members or something like that?
Yeah, we can look into something like that.
Just so the message is getting out about what we're facing and challenging. If they don't have information, they tend to make it up. So I want to make sure that at least they get our story, if that's possible.
Yeah, we can definitely look into that.
Tommy, do you want to mention the timeline if we were to go out with the first approach?
Yeah, so we've already kind of had some preliminary discussions with the design consultant, and they are, I think that they're supportive of looking at the option of phasing the restroom project and getting that out to bid as soon as maybe, I think what they say, June.
Yeah, I think we could put something together for the restroom to go out to bid separately, maybe sometime in June.
Yeah. Okay. Because I think too, the portion of the bid that was for the restroom, while there was only one bid, the bid for the restroom itself wasn't nearly as high as the pier and compared to the engineering estimate. So we're confident that if we do put it out as a separate bid, the hope is that we'll get more contractors submitting bids and it'll be fairly competitive.
Yeah, the contractor could potentially bid on the restroom in the building. They don't need to know how to drive the piles, so that would like increase the amounts of the contractors.
So what you're saying is, just for those watching, is you basically split it into two, so somebody that might specialize in that type of building and installation and removal of the old, and then the fishing pier, where somebody might specialize, you might get more bidders on both jobs doing it by splitting it apart.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, and at least for the restroom, I mean, that's just a straightforward construction project, right?
Mhm.
And there's no specialty over water work or anything like that. So So what it sounds like though is that we could actually bid this in June and then start construction. And I don't know how long the construction piece is expected to last, but I mean, would it be done this year?
I would anticipate it to be done by the end of this year if we can, get it out in June.
Because you don't have to deal with any fish windows or anything
Right.
like that.
Right.
Even the removal of the old one probably you can't remove it till the other one's working.
I think, and maybe Kai can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that portion, the removal of the old facility, would maybe be tied more to phase 2 when they actually construct the new pier down the road.
You just close it off.
Right.
and-
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So, but the gates, the parking gates and stuff, would that be included in the restroom phase? Or is that gonna be handled separately?
It is separate, yeah.
It's a separate project. We have all the equipment for the parking.
Right.
So we're trying to tag team with the construction of the restroom while they're digging trenches for
Right.
sewers and waters and power. We hope to tag into that to keep the prices down, and then we'll be installing somewhat at that same time.
Okay,
So it's separate, but it's
Yes.
separate projects, but it'll
Yes.
be occurring. at the
coordinated,
same
yeah.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
One other thing I'll point out too is, we noticed that during bidding, I think there was 6 or 7 plan holders at least for this project, and we only obviously got the one bid. So once the bid is formally rejected, then I think it'd be possible for the city staff to reach out to some of those contractors who were holding the plans and try and get a better understanding of why they maybe didn't submit bids on the project. And that'll go into how we evaluate all our alternatives going forward on the pier.
Yeah, it'd be, on one of the next meetings in the fall, after you've done that, I'd be very interested in, what you found from the reasoning that they had.
Yeah, agreed.
So is this gonna have any effect on the pier, or the float replacements?
The south floats are all done and everything else, and they're ready to be installed. They've been installed before the holiday weekend. And the project itself doesn't incorporate into the space to impact it at all. So
Okay.
the launch will still be there.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else to add? All right, thank you. Next up is the Marina CIP update.
Thank you, appreciate it. Just really quickly, I just wanted to update you on about 8 of our CIP projects. Some of them going since 2019. The pandemic kind of got us on a few things, but we're moving forward. But the marina dredging back in 2019, we just finalized the mitigation. So we're working on closeout materials right now to finally get that one completely done. Our 2020 and 2021 guest moorage power upgrades. It's where we upgraded all the power to 50 amp and 30 amp service. We also installed the backbone for electric charging for vessels. But at this time, we don't have a universal charging station. There's not one made yet. So we're just waiting to see when that comes out so we can install a few of those. And that was done with marina money and about $127,000 worth of grants. The Redondo Southside floats, they were built, that was a 21 project also. They finally got built. We're all done with that. We're closing that project out. That was some city money, a little ARPA money, and $211,000 worth of grant funding for that one. So we're happy about that one. We do our yearly dock work. We change whalers and electrical each year on a dock. This year we did J-dock. So those 4 are all complete now, and we're getting finalized with the finance and everything else. The ones we're working on is the tenant restroom. Unfortunately, all the bids so far on different restrooms, even prefab restrooms, are way the heck up there. So we're a little over budget. So I'm working with Jeff right now to find some additional funding to help us with that one. Along with that is our marina dock replacement, LM&N, and we still don't have any state or federal permits. Spoke to our engineers last week. He says they're talking to us finally, which is better than nothing. So we are moving forward, And as soon as I learn anything, if permits come in tomorrow, I'll let everybody know, and that'll move us forward. And then we'll be getting that out to bid shortly thereafter. And lastly is paid parking. And we just got through with the financials, with the merchants and the processors and all those things. So that is hopefully complete tomorrow. And then over the next couple of weeks, we'll do some training, both on the machinery and on the software side of it. We have signs that are ready to go out with a big watch for this date. We'll go live, but we'll give everybody plenty of time. We'll put out these big monster signs all over the streets to let everybody know. And as soon as we know when the train and everything, it'll be a couple weeks after that, but that's where we're at with that one, so.
This is a shot, and you probably already considered it or whatever, but you were talking about the tenant restroom, and we were talking about Redondo restroom. Is it possible that we might be able to save some money by getting somebody to combine them? Just throwing it
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, we can certainly consider it. It's difficult, and I don't know the consultant that may have worked on that project.
Yeah.
And trying to combine the plans and specs from two different projects, sometimes that can be just challenging and maybe not as cost effective.
And that's the answer I'm looking for. I just had to ask. It seemed like there was a struggle and you're getting cost, but sounded like you were optimistic about what bid you were gonna get there, and I was like, well, maybe. So you gotta ask the question. So I know you're probably doing what you can.
Like sometimes like the area that you can see some cost like savings or mobilization and traffic control plan, you know, with the two sides are separated from each other. Yeah, there's not much of like saving that we can see there. We do both projects together.
Okay.
Thank you. And in the interim, Scott, with regard to the parking lot at Redondo, we're having an independent contractor handle the opening and closure of that lot.
Correct.
Which this will all be, I assume this will all be taken care of once the gates are in. It'll be automatic. But are we doing anything about the times in the interim process that those gates are open? Because there have been some severe problems with gangs, you know, street racers assembling in the lots. And
Thank you. Yeah, no, I was speaking with Chief Gately the other day, and so I've reached out to start closing probably next week. The gate's at 8 p.m. We're gonna start with that. I'm also looking at some small speed bumps that I can put throughout the parking lot where the truck and trailer can still drive over them, but most of those little cars aren't gonna like to do donuts and going over those type of things, just to try to help with that type of situation. So yes, the 8 o'clock, we're looking at the 8 o'clock closure for the gates. The guys fixed some gates 2 days ago, and that's what, so hopefully we can eliminate some of that.
yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody. That's the end of our agenda. If there's nothing else, appreciate the presentations tonight and look forward to the council presentation. Motion to adjourn.
Motion and a lot of thanks for working your ass off.
All right. We're adjourned. Thank you, guys.